Hey, and welcome to the Systems Boutique podcast. I'm Dr. Ramona H. Lawrence. Most people just simply call me Dr. Ramona. I'm your systems stylist and your business operations expert, and I'm here to help you build a high-end boutique style back-end that creates ease and scalability for you without sacrificing the luxury experience your clients absolutely deserve. So if you're a speaker, a coach, a consultant, a course creator, or author who's ready to stop the overwhelm, ditch the tech confusion, and finally streamline your systems and operations, you are in the right place. Each week, I'll bring you actionable strategies, expert insights, and behind-the-scenes business systems and operations insights to help you scale with ease, efficiency, and absolute excellence. So grab your notebook, your favorite cup of coffee or tea, and let's get to work. Welcome to the Systems Boutique, where systems meet style. Hey, and welcome to this week's episode of the Systems Boutique podcast. Welcome back if you are a regular listener. And if this is your first time here, I'm Dr. Ramona, your systems and ops stylist. Here's what I do. I partner with high-performing teams and businesses that have gotten far on grit, but now need boutique-style systems and operations to scale with more ease and sustainability. And so this week, we're switching it up a little bit and we're moving to bi-weekly episodes. And so if you are a regular listener to the Systems Boutique podcast, you are used to listening to a new episode every week. So I wanted to inform you of the switch, and I look forward to seeing you every other week on the podcast. So today's topic is a little different. In the last few episodes, here's what we've been doing. We have talked about the fabulous Systems Boutique CRM, and we've talked about the techie stuff. But in this episode, we're going to talk about systems for major life decisions. So systems for making those major life decisions. So recently, I made a major life decision and I left a 15-year career as a full professor of health policy and community health to become a full-time director of operations. So as you can imagine, this was a huge decision. So I thought about, what did it take for me to make that decision? And I'm going to share it with you today because I am sure that some of you are working through some of these huge decisions too. And I want to just give you some feedback on what I did, and I want to just jump right in. So let's do it. So first, how did I get here? Well, a few years ago, I read Dr. Patrice Buckner Jackson's book, Disrupting Burnout. And so one of the things that she does in the book is help you move beyond burnout. And so you all know what burnout is. We've heard it a lot these days. Everybody's talking about burnout. But she's helping us move beyond burnout to discover our true brilliance. And so in the book, she discusses that brilliance is not necessarily just what you've been trained or educated to do. So for instance, for me, I have a doctorate in public health, and it's not necessarily my public health skill set. It's what I'm naturally great at. So she has you do some exercises that take you back to childhood and makes you think about what came naturally to you even back then. And so it's not even just what happened naturally to you back then, but right now, what are people always asking you to do that just seems easy for you, but it's difficult for them? So for me, that was connecting the dots, solving puzzles, trivia, understanding how things work behind the scenes, i.e. systems and operations, right? And so reading that book made me hyper aware of my brilliance and made me start to desire to work within that brilliance at all times. So as a professor, even, I still wanted to set up systems and look at how to make operations more efficient. As a speaker, I love being a keynote on a stage, but the ops behind the scenes fascinated me even more. So I knew I had found my own brilliance. And so when we're talking about making these major life decisions, here is step one: discover your brilliance. What is that thing, not just that you've been trained to do, what makes you you, and what is it that you were literally born to do? And so the next thing that started happening was I felt the burn. So you all know about this burn inside. There's like this little urge that tells you that it's time to make a change. So years ago, I started to have this little urging inside that said, your time in this position is ending. Let me say that again. Years went by. The issue with a lot of people is that they make split decisions and they move too fast. You don't want to do that. I'm not saying you have to take years to make a decision, but you better know that it's time to make the move for you. So I spent a lot of time learning, growing my skill sets, climbing the ranks of academia. So the burn was very low at first. But as the years continued, I felt more desire to use my full skill set, more discomfort in the position I was in, more challenges with working my business and continuing in the job I was in, more conflict between where I knew I should be and where I was. But here's the big thing: I knew that I was not supposed to quit doing the sickle cell research that I was doing. So if you're just meeting me, my academic specialty was sickle cell disease research, was and is sickle cell disease research. And so I knew that I wasn't supposed to quit doing that. That is part of my life's purpose. But I knew I wasn't supposed to quit doing my operations business either. So you can imagine how conflicted I was. And to top it off, I live in a super rural area of Georgia. Can't hear it in my accent, I'm sure. So I live in a super rural area of Georgia. So there are not a lot of jobs equivalent to my skill set. And I didn't want to move my family. So I just didn't know what to do. So step two: recognize and feel the burn. You're going to start feeling that urging. You're going to know, but it might not mean that you need to move right then. You need to have it in the back of your mind and then gain the skill sets, gain the things that you need to do as you are continuing to prepare for the next step that you're going to. So, step three: listen when opportunity knocks. You are going to have to listen closely. It is going to be scary, but it is a great thing. So if you're feeling that burn, you've been patient, you've been faithful in your current position. And so let me throw this in right here. You've got to have a good attitude where you are and keep being faithful to the job you're in, right? Don't miss that piece. You have to continue to be faithful in the position that you're in until the new one comes open. So you can't start slacking on the job. You can't start not doing the things that you're supposed to do for the people that are paying you. Okay. You got to be faithful. So if you're feeling the burn, you've been patient, opportunity will knock. So for me, I was talking to the CEO of the organization where I'm currently the director of operations, and she said, sickle cell expert and operations, yes, that's an amazing skill set. Let's do this. Okay. Long story short, there was a lot of conversation in between there, but long story short, amazing skill set. You got sickle cell, you got the operations piece. Let's go. So suddenly I had the opportunity to continue with the sickle cell work I had been doing and be the director of operations. And so that is not it. I also had the opportunity to work remotely, not having to move my family, right? So sign me up, right? Well, not so fast. Okay. So I had to think about this. I'm leaving a 15-year career and understanding the effort that it took to build that career as an African American female in the academy is no small feat. So I said, let me think about it. So I did not immediately say yes. I said, let me think about it, which is understandable. So you're going to have to think through these things. So here's the thing. Even though an opportunity sounds good, it doesn't mean it is good for you or it's the right time. So now we get into the meat of the decision making process here, because guess what? I had to make a decision between a life that was already great. That is what is happening with many of you. You have a great life. So you're at that point where you've been successful, you've done the thing, but you know that there is something else. And so that's where I was. I didn't hate my job. I loved being a professor, but I knew that there was something else. So I had a job with stability. I had a great salary. I had a prestigious title, colleagues that I love. There was nothing that was just making me say, I just hate this place. But there was this thing. There was this thing that I knew, where I knew that it was time for me to move to the next level. So I left all of that to go into a position where I didn't know exactly what was to come. So that's scary, right? Super scary. But that's where a lot of people stay stuck, right? They're stuck right here because they let fear keep them from fulfilling their life's purpose. So you have to be brave when opportunity knocks. You have to listen for the knock and then be brave enough to open the door, because it is there, right? It is there for you. So here's what I did after I got the job offer to make the decision. Okay. So this is the big thing. Here's how you decide between great and an even greater, right? One, I prayed about it and I asked God to show me a sign. Close the doors, do anything he could to keep me from this if it was not his will. That is number one. I wanted every single door to shut quickly. I wanted it to be just difficult, where I would know that this is not for me, right? So that is the first thing. So whatever that looks like for you, that is the first thing that I did. I needed to see some signs, those God winks that we talk about that say, yes, you are supposed to go do this, right? Okay, number two, I talked to my husband. This is something that is simple, and some of you may say, well, hey, I don't want to do that. I'm just telling you what I did. Okay. I talked to my husband, because you have to discuss these major life decisions with individuals who will be affected by that decision. So I felt a peace after I talked to him, because he said, hey, if this is a decision that you want to make, it's going to be good for us, then go for it. So that is one thing that holds people back. If you're having this conflict between people that are going to be affected by the decision, you need to get peace. You need alignment there. Okay. Number three, I sought out mentors and wise counsel. This is not your friend next door. This is not just anybody on Facebook that you go and ask. These are individuals who know, who have made the decision that you're about to make. Do not talk to everybody. It will have you so confused, you will not know what to do. You'll just be in a worse situation. So talk to mentors, see what they say, listen to them. If they say, no, don't do it, then it's very likely that it might not be a good decision. You can make your own decision. You're grown, right? But if your mentor say, I know some things about the inside here. I know that this is not good for your career. If they say anything like that, if they are saying anything about what will happen with your work-life balance, your mental health, listen. But my mentors, every single one of them checked out. The ones that I thought were going to say, absolutely not, keep your academic career, said, go. This is great. This is a wonderful opportunity for you. So I felt confident because I talked to people who knew academia. They had made moves like this. They knew the organization that I was going to. They knew. I talked to people who were very, very knowledgeable. Okay. Not everybody in my family, just the pertinent people that I know would help make the decision. Okay. All right. Number 4. This is a big one. I checked my heart and motives. So I determined why I really wanted to make this move. Was I just irritated? Was I impatient? Was I just looking to make more money? None of those for me would have been good reasons to leave my current position. And so I knew that it was none of that, but it was truly that I knew my time there was ending and I needed to step into my next level self. Number 5, I took the leap. At that point, everything checked out. I had discovered my brilliance. I felt the burn and the stirring inside me. I had patiently waited. An opportunity came available that aligned with my heart and skills. My mentor said go. I prayed. My husband agreed. I checked my motives, and all there was left to do was say yes and don't look back. So I made the decision. I made the leap. Don't be scared. Okay. Here's what happened when I made the announcement. When I made it Facebook official, people questioned my change, but I knew at that point that I had done the right thing and that this was the decision for me. So they couldn't sway me. If you talk to people too early, you put your business out there on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever it may be, too early, you are going to struggle with the decision. And so I waited. And when I was 1000% sure and I had signed everything and I knew that it was the decision for me, I made the announcement then. And no matter what anybody said, I was absolutely confident in my decision and it did not sway me a bit. So I'm happy to report that I am absolutely loving it. I love working fully as a director of operations for my organization and for you all as business owners. So that is the process that I went through to make major life decisions, right? When you are making a major life decision, you need to have a system. You need to ensure that it's right for you. I know that you are already there. You're feeling the burn. Talk to your mentors. Talk to the people who are there, who are going to be a part of that life decision. Make sure that your motive and your heart is right and that you are brave enough to step into the decision and don't tell everybody until you are confident in what you are doing. And so I hope this helps you make those major life decisions between what is great, because it doesn't mean you're making a decision between something's bad. What is a decision between something that is great and greater? That is what we're talking about today. And so if this helps you, all I ask is that you share with a friend, and we will see you on the next episode of the Sisters Boutique Podcast. See you later. Bye. All right, my chic CEOs, that's a wrap for today's episode. If you found value in today's conversation, do me a favor. Subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with another star. That's a speaker, a teacher, an author, or a coach who absolutely needs it. And hey, if you're ready to finally get your systems together, let's chat. Head over to thesystemsboutique.com/strategy to book your systems style strategy call, where we'll map out your perfect business back end. So until next time, keep it chic, keep it systemized, and keep shining like the absolute star you are. See ya.